Shivaya, Krishna Krishnaya, Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini, Namo Vishnuvaya, Krishna Krishnaya, Bhutale, Srimate
Thank you so much, Gaurangi. Very nice Kirtan.
Hare Krishna.
Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Gaurangi. It was such a wonderful Kirtan.
Thank you,
It
Prabhupada.
was-
Very nice, Gaurangi.
बहुत अच्छा कीर्तन किया है. Gaurangi is the star of the evening. Very nice.
Very nice, Gaurangi.
Thank you. All glories to Srila.
Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna and pranams dear devotees. So welcome to our Bhagavad Gita evening session. So we will begin our session. Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavendra Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you so much everyone for coming to the evening session. तो अभी हम भगवद गीता का जो थर्ड चैप्टर है उसमें अभी हम पढ़ रहे हैं and yesterday we discussed about Nishkam Karma Yoga and how Krishna also instructs that he has no duty to perform, still he is performing. So उससे पहले हमने पढ़ा कि that Krishna is instructing Arjun to do his prescribed duties even if there is no material desire, and to just do the duty for um, for teaching others and by example, and that was the main aim. Um, and one of the other main aim of Krishna to make Arjuna understand was also that one who is full in knowledge is above the material attachment, and and when one is not attached, still he has to work to set an example for others, so that जो दूसरे हैं वो उसका पालन कर सकें, जो those who are less knowledgeable. And then Krishna also gives the example of Janak Maharaj and tells that how such great men, or how great devotees they were, and they performed their prescribed duties, and simply by performing their prescribed duties only they could achieve the same result, which is the perfection of life. And then and he says that जो leaders होते हैं, those who are great men, they have to follow what is the Vedic injunction, what are the Vedic codes, and अगर वो नहीं करते, then there will be destruction in the society. And for that Krishna gives his own example. वो अपना ही example देते हैं कि हमने कल पढ़ा कि किस प्रकार से कि उनके लिए कोई भी प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटी नहीं है. He is the supreme lord, he has all the opulences, everything he has, and he has nothing to gain or nothing to lose, but still जब वो when he comes down to earth, he performs his prescribed duties like a normal householder he does. And and वो बताते हैं कि अगर वो नहीं करते, then there will be a bad example which will be set for the society. And society क्या करती है? The society follows society follow the leaders. जो leaders करेंगे, that will what the society, the people of the society, the general people of the society who are less knowledgeable or less intelligent, they will follow. And so that is why he is working, and he also instructs Arjun to work. And उसके बाद हमने ये भी पढ़ा that how we don't have to imitate. हमको उनका अनुकरण नहीं करना, उनका अनुगमन करना है. So there are two things, one is imitation and other is following. So we have to follow what the leaders or what the Mahajans have said, but we don't have to imitate. So that is what we discussed yesterday. So और आज हम ये पढ़ेंगे कि जो व्यक्ति होता है, the person who is knowledgeable, and how he is behaving with those who are attached, who are less knowledgeable, or those who are attached, and what is the difference between both of them, कि उनमें अंतर क्या है और वो किस प्रकार से how do they deal with each other, and how does the person who is above who is detached or who is above these modes, how that person works or how that person acts, so that and deals with the other person who is attached. So आज हम 3.26 से शुरू करेंगे, and so I will share my screen. So if anybody would like to recite, वो अपना हाथ खड़ा कर सकते हैं. So 3.26. Yes, Anita Mataji, can you recite 3.26?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Text 26.
Yes. Is my
Na
screen visible?
buddhi bhed. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Sorry.
Na buddhi bhedam janyed agyanam karma sanginam joshiyet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan.
Translation.
Translation. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned man should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So we'll read. So I'll also recite once. Na buddhi bhedam janyet agyanam karma sanginam joshet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sort of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
तो देखिए इसमें भगवान डिफरेंस बताते हैं कि एक इग्नोरेंट मैन में और जो लर्न पर्सन होता है उसमें क्या डिफरेंस होता है. सो इग्नोरेंट मैन इज वन हु इज अटैच्ड टू देयर फ्रूटिव एक्टिविटीज बिकॉज ऑफ हिज इग्नोरेंस. ही इज अटैच्ड टू द एक्टिविटीज और द ड्यूटीज दैट ही इज परफॉर्मिंग. सो वो अपने अपने कर्म के फल से बहुत अटैच्ड होता है. And learned person is the one who is doing Krishna consciousness, who is not attached to the work or the service that he is performing. So उन दोनों में ये डिफरेंस बताते हैं भगवान कि जो भी लर्न पर्सन होता है और जो इग्नोरेंट पर्सन होता है, तो लर्न पर्सन कभी भी इग्नोरेंट पर्सन को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करता उसकी अटैचमेंट्स को, या फिर जो भी वो फॉलो कर रहा होता है, ही डोंट डिस्टर्ब एवरीथिंग. बट ग्रेजुअली क्या होता है कि अपने एग्जाम्पल से या फिर अपने आचार से प्रचार करता है. तो जैसे ही लर्न पर्सन को इग्नोरेंट पर्सन काम करता देखता है या फिर अपना वितरण करता देखता है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही ignorant person धीरे धीरे slowly he also start walking on the path of Krishna consciousness. We'll read.
और इसका एसेंस भी जो इस श्लोक के जो पर्पट है उसमें इसको जो एसेंस है वो भी यही है कि how a learned person by his own examples he is teaching it to others. And starting में, so Prabhupada writes about Krishna that he is the जो सारे वेदों का जो सार है वो है कि is to know Krishna. Yes, Prabhupada, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Vedeshta sarver ahameva vedyo, that I am of all the Vedas I am to be known. And he also says in chapter 7 that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabham, that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that he is the that person is very rare who knows that Vasudeva is the Sarvamiti, that he is the one. And this is what the essence of this purport as well. And 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 in the end, Prabhupada writes that what the learned person does is that they see that if a person is slightly developed in Krishna consciousness, so what is that meaning? उसका मतलब ये है कि अगर किसी के पास थोड़ा सा भी faith है, so that is where they try them to engage in the service. They try them to the devotees, they try the other members, the other persons to engage them in the activities of Krishna consciousness, so that there can be some gradual development. Like
जैसे आपने भी फील करा होगा या फिर आपने भी एक्सपीरियंस करा होगा कि कभी भी हम भक्ति में आते हैं तो हमें कोई ये नहीं बोलता है कि आप ये मत करो या वो मत करो, जस्ट दे एवरीवन जस्ट एनकरेज कि जो भी करते हैं वी जस्ट नीड टू ऐड समथिंग. So that is how Krishna consciousness starts. So if we start adding something in our life, and then slowly our consciousness also gets cleared, and धीरे धीरे हम भक्ति के पाथ पे start हो जाते हैं.
And also दोनों का जो रिजल्ट होता है वो भी सेम रहता है, because the essence is that because Krishna is the supreme benefactor of all the activities. That if a attached person, they are trying to do the activities and then they are gradually trying to elevate themselves. So and उसमें होता क्या है that if they are following the Vedic injunctions, then that is also indirectly Krishna consciousness, because the essence is that all the in सब activities का जो the benefactor है, that is Krishna, and either directly or indirectly he is getting of all the results. And if we are doing and if there is some slight Krishna consciousness, in a sense that agar thoda sa bhi faith hai, so then the person is can directly be engaged in the direct activities. Other than that, whatever activities we are doing, we have to make it a point that we are not attached to the results, and we are following the regulated the principles of the Vedic injunctions. So if we do that, so that both of the activities have the same result. So now we move to the next slope. 3.27.
Next is 3.27. Prakrite kriyamani guna karmani sarvasha ahankar vimuddhatma kartayam iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carrier out of three modes of material nature.
This is a very wonderful shlok and a very famous one also. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankar vimodhatma karta ham iti manyate. That so what is Krishna saying? That the one who is mudha, like those who are bewildered by the influence of the false ego, or those who are not so intelligent or though not so knowledgeable, उनको ऐसा लगता है that they are the doer of the activities, or they are the reason of all what they are doing. But what is happening is that because वो तीन गुणों में बंधे हैं, they are in the modes of nature, and because of them being in the mode of nature, they are being carried out. The activities are automatically carried out by the mode in which they are, and that is the resultant of that is the cause of those activities. And we think that or the unintelligent person thinks that he is the cause, or he is the controller, but actually that is not true. So इसके purport में हम अभी पढ़ेंगे that what is Prabhupada saying.
Two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective position. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna.
Mhm. So Prabhupada here writes that the spirit soul is bewildered by the influence of false ego, and the first bewilderment which happens, जो सबसे पहला illusion है जो हमको आता है वो ये है that we forget our identity. We forget our identity that we are spirit souls and we are part and parcel of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because of that illusion and because of that false ego, because it is false, because it is not true, so that is why it is called false ego. And we think that we are actually the ones who are doing everything, but eventually, because it is not what is happening, it is actually the modes of material nature which are controlling the person. And and
So जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि there are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion and ignorance. तो जिस मोड में भी हम होते हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही हम कार्य करते हैं, and we are forced to work in that mode. Let's suppose we are in the mode of ignorance, then our activities will be more towards the ignorant part. So that's how we are forced to move in that mode. So all men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. कि कोई भी एक भी पल के लिए ऐसा रिफ्रेन नहीं कर सकता, अपने मोड्स के अगेंस्ट जाने की नहीं कर सकते.
So this is actually, so this is chapter 3 verse 5 only, in which Krishna says that we are forced to act in whatever mode of material nature that we are, and we cannot help ourselves out. And the only way is what we are reading, that we have to take the shelter of the Sankirtan Yajna, and like that. And Prabhupada here also mentions that we think ourselves to be the controller, but actually we are under the control of Krishna, and and we think that all is happening is according to some coincidence in nature, or some lucky moment in nature, or because of which everything happened, or but actually it is not so. Everything is being controlled by Krishna, directly or indirectly, by the agents of Krishna, or the whole arrangement that the Lord has made. So we were also hearing this lecture from His Holiness Bhaktichar Swami Maharaj, in which he mentions of how this material manifestation itself, like अगर एक system set up करके रखते हैं, so that system is if this system is set up by Krishna, so that means Krishna is controlling that system. So in that way we can say that everything is in control. जैसे कि हम कहते हैं कि भगवान के मर्जी के बिना तो पत्ता भी नहीं हिल सकता. So this is the meaning of how do we understand that how everything is in control, because there are stringent rules and regulations to this material nature. So everything is driven out or drawn in a very a good architected way by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And Krishna is Sarva Karan Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So everything is coming from Krishna.
So the agents of Lord Krishna means that the demigods. So they are in one way they are the supplying agents, or the ones who, or the administrators of this universe. So जो देवी देवता हैं, so they are like the agents, or and they have the responsibility to run this material nature, so that there are different departments, so that everything works perfectly. And because he doesn't have to do anything, like a big boss, he doesn't do anything, and he is very comfortable in his abode, Golok Vrindavan, and he is enjoying there. He doesn't have anything to do, and all things he's delegated all the responsibilities to his caretakers, or we can say the demigods. So like that, those who are the agents of, in one sense, the agents of Lord Krishna. And also इसमें हम ये भी देख सकते हैं that we think that ourselves to be the controller. So from where does this notion of being a controller comes? So this comes from actually we inherit this quality from Krishna only, because Krishna is the supreme controller, and we being the part and parcel of Krishna, we also have some minute controllership. And because we are in nature we are same, and but we haven't got anything to do with that, because we really can't do it, we really can't control it, but we have um, notion of controllership. And so इसको हम एग्जांपल के तौर से ऐसे ले सकते हैं कि we can say that that the aeroplanes are flying in the sky. So that is some control, right? कि अगर हम कहें कि कंट्रोल नहीं हो सकता, तो how could we manipulate the simple metals or simple materials into something which is so complex or so structured? So some control is there, but Krishna, he can fly big planets in the universe. So but we can't do that. So we can fly aeroplanes, but Krishna can fly planets. And we can make big buildings, but Krishna can make big universes. So in that sense we have some control, but not supreme control, not full control.
Yes, so Neha Mataji is also saying in quality we are same, not in quantity. Yes, Mataji. So we are very minute part of Krishna. So in quality our soul is same, but in quantity he is the ultimate cause, and he is the biggest. We can say in quality he is having the all.
He is
in
infinite
quantity
and
he
we
is
are infinite.
infinite, and we are very minute part of that.
And also जैसे कि देखिए यहाँ पे लिखा है that he does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of Supreme Lord. And ultimately, so everything is so this. And नीचे आके Prabhupada writes that he does not know that this gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such his body and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna. So that is also very natural, like because this body or this body, like either subtle or gross, like coming from Krishna is an energy of Krishna, and we also are energy of Krishna, although we are superior. And this body which is which is
पांच
it is
पांच
which is
धातुओं
inferior,
से जो बनी है,
which is inferior.
material nature. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and the body which is inferior, so the superior nature, like us who are souls, they are trying to take control over the body. And but eventually what should be done is that, because we are energy of Krishna, so like any energy, the general tendency of any energy is to serve the energetic. Like otherwise एनर्जी के एग्जिस्ट होने का कोई और पर्पस हो ही नहीं सकता. द ओनली रीजन फॉर एनी एनर्जी, लाइक इवन आइदर इंफीरियर और सुपीरियर, टू एग्जिस्ट इज टू सर्व द एनर्जेटिक. जिसकी वो एनर्जी है वो उसको सर्व करे. So in that sense we can say that we are everything should be engaged in the service. Isn't it logical that because the energy has to serve the energetic, and we being the Krishna's energy, and even the body and this mental activity, everything is being Krishna's energy, so it has to be engaged in the service of Krishna. And that is what Prabhupada is also writing. और नीचे पढ़ते हैं, the ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Rishikesh, or the master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of senses in sense gratification, he is actually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. So जैसे कि हमने सबसे पहले mention किया that the first thing, so the whole problem starts is that we have a desire to um, to uh,
Enjoy.
to enjoy separately, and then we are given this arrangement. Okay, you want to enjoy, but you can't do it there, so you have to do it somewhere else, which is this material nature. So we come back, so we come here, and the first thing जो सबसे पहले चीज हमारे साथ होती है is that we are forced to forget our identity, which is our false ego. And अगर अगर हम हमेशा ये याद रखेंगे कि that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and our constitutional position is to serve him, then this problem will not be there, because जो संबंध है, जो relationship है, if we are forgetful of that, this is where the first problem starts. And then eventually the whole thing is that the whole material is arrangement is there for us to satisfy our desires, our enjoyment desires, whatever we had, so that we can do that. And along with that, we are given a rule book, a rule set we are given, so that okay, you want to do this, here are the Vedic injunctions, here are the Vedic codes, you follow at least these, and eventually what I have given inside this is me only. And because eventually the whole purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna, and once you will know me, and then you will understand that this is not your real position, and you will come back. So this is the whole idea of the whole purpose of the creation, the material existence of material creation, and the whole purpose of why we are here. And but because we have forgotten that Krishna is rishikena sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So and because we have forgotten this, and we are trying to enjoy ourselves, and because of our false ego, and so this is what is wrong with us. And we have to like correct it, and by engaging our activities, or by doing whatever we are doing, and be in the service of the Lord, and which we will read in our further shlokas. So we move to next.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare
प्रभु जी
Krishna.
आपकी ना वीडियो बार बार वो ब्लर्ड हो रही है, ठीक हो रही है व्हाइल यू आर स्पीकिंग।
माता जी, आपकी स्क्रीन दिख रही है हमारी?
हाँ स्क्रीन दिख रही है, लेकिन वो बीच बीच में ना ब्लर हुआ जा रहा है।
नहीं, शेयर स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रही?
हाँ शेयर स्क्रीन तो दिख रही है, मैं मतलब
ओके, वो कैमरा में प्रॉब्लम है माता जी थोड़ी सी, so let me correct it.
ओके।
अब नहीं होगा माता जी। तो अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। श्लोक नंबर 28। तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुण कर्मा विभागयो गुणा गुणेषु वर्तन्ता इति मत्वा न सज्जते। Translation: One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and the sense gratification, knowing well the difference between the work in devotion and work for fruitive results.
तो देखिए भगवान यहाँ कहते हैं कि जिसको सही से नॉलेज, हु इज हैविंग द नॉलेज ऑफ एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ, लाइक हु इज कृष्णा, एंड ही इज द knowledge that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Almighty armed man does not engage himself in senses and sense gratification. तो वो अपनी इंद्र तृप्ति में अपने आप को इन्वॉल्व नहीं करता है, एंड या फिर इंद्रियों के अकॉर्डिंग ड्राइव नहीं करता है. सो ही इज नॉट गेटिंग ड्राइव्ड बाय हिज सेंसेस, he's not getting driven by his senses, he's getting driven by his intelligence rather than mind or senses. So knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work of fruitive results. So he knows कि जो डिवोशन में या फिर जो डिवोशन में काम करना है उसमें और फ्रूटिव रिजल्ट्स में क्या डिफरेंस है.
So now here the point is, the whole point of the purport is that so Prabhupada, Krishna is trying to say what is the difference between those who are knowledgeable and those who are not attached to the activities or the result of the activities, and how what are the activities that they are doing. And एंड जैसे कि यहाँ पे लिखा है that one who is in knowledge of the absolute truth. So यहाँ पे वो activities defined हैं कि वो करते क्या हैं, that and उसका जो आगे जाके 3.29 आएगा उसमें हम ये देखेंगे कि इसके विपरीत क्या है, कि जो जिनको ये नॉलेज नहीं है और जो those who are in sense gratification or those who are in the modes, how are they acting, and यहाँ पे क्या है कि those who are not, how are they acting. So we'll read the purport.
The knower of absolute truth is convinced of his awkward position in material association. He knows that he is part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and that his position should not be in material creation. He knows his real identity as part and parcel of Supreme, who is eternal bliss and knowledge, and he realizes that somehow or other he is trapped in material conception of life. तो उसको रियलाइजेशन होती है, उसको ज्ञान होता है that he is the part and parcel of Krishna, कि भगवान का वो अंश है जो कि भगवान who is eternal bliss and full of knowledge.
देखिए सबसे पहला क्या है, that he is convinced of his awkward position in material association, and he knows ki what is the reality, and so what is the purpose of this whole thing, and he is and there is some awkwardness, and there is an awkward situation for him, that he is struggling so hard in this material existence, and so why does he has to do it. So at least the person जिसको ये ज्ञान है, जिसको ये knowledge है, उसको ये पता है, उसको ये चीज पता है that he is not supposed to be in a position जो इसमें अभी हम हैं. और दूसरा देखिए क्या है, he knows that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. तो ये जो realization है, ये बहुत जरूरी है, that he knows that he is the part and parcel, and so not only knowing but by also have to realize that yes, there is sambandh, there is a relationship, but we should see that are we this that क्या हम ये हैं जहाँ पे जो ये एक्टिविटी, जहाँ जो ये characteristics mentioned है, because जो भी हम activities perform कर रहे हैं, whatever activities that we are doing, is it pleasing to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and if it is not, then we are not fully realized that we are part and parcel, because if we are 100% realized that we are part and parcel, and our duty or our position is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead or serve Krishna, then our 100% of our activities would be in Krishna consciousness. But at least for myself, I can say that I am not, and
So we can start by analyzing our day-to-day activities कि हम क्या हम दिन में जितने भी कार्य कर रहे हैं उनमें से कितने कार्य ऐसे हैं जो हम भगवान की प्रसन्नता के लिए करते हैं, instead of कि उनका रिजल्ट पाने के बजाय. तो हम अपने आप को एनालाइज कर सकते हैं कि हम कितना भगवान की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं by that way.
Because there can only be two things, either we can serve Krishna or we can serve Maya. There is no third thing. So the percentage we are serving Krishna is the percentage we are not serving Maya, or the percentage we are serving Maya is the percentage we are not serving Krishna.
So जैसे एक सिक्का होता है, उसके दो पहलू होते हैं. So one part is Krishna and the other is Maya. So when we are serving Krishna, when we are facing the first front part of coin, then we are not facing the other part of coin. So if we are facing the other part of the coin, then we will not be facing the first part of the coin. So ऐसे ही अगर माया को if we are serving Krishna, then we are away from Maya. But in case we are away from Krishna, then Maya traps us.
So we'll read ahead. He knows his real identity as part and parcel of the Supreme, who is eternal bliss and knowledge, and he realizes that somehow or other he is entrapped in the material conception of life. So, एक ये realization भी है, that he realizes that he is entrapped in this material conception, and in his pure state of existence, he is meant to dovetail his activities in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and become naturally unattached to the activities of material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. So, देखिए अब जो next लक्षण है वो क्या है? That he is supposed to dovetail all his activities in the service of the Lord, in the devotional service of the Lord, which is important. And therefore he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness, because activities in Krishna consciousness are in devotion, and and he becomes naturally unattached. And how naturally unattached, ये हमने second chapter में भी पढ़ा था, that how one loses the taste for sense gratification when he when जब उसको higher taste मिल जाता है. So that is how naturally one becomes unattached also to the activities, because whatever activities he is doing, he is getting satisfaction out of it, because eventually he was, उसका जो purpose था वो था that he can be satisfied, that we can be satisfied, and we were trying to do sense gratification and find satisfaction out of it, which we cannot find. हम गलत जगह ढूंढ रहे थे, but अगर हम उसको सही जगह apply करते हैं, if we try to do that activity in Krishna consciousness, in the service and in devotion, so our senses automatically get satisfied because Krishna gets satisfied.
Yes.
Because
तो डबटेल कैसे कर सकते हैं हम अपनी एक्टिविटीज को फॉर द प्लेजर ऑफ कृष्णा, कि हम कुछ भी डेली लाइफ में एक्टिविटीज कर रहे हैं, लाइक इफ इवन अगर हम जॉब कर रहे हैं, देन आल्सो वी कैन अर्न फॉर कृष्णा, एंड इफ वी आर कुकिंग समथिंग, वी कैन प्रिपेयर दैट फॉर कृष्णा. तो अगर आप नोट करोगे, हम सुबह से लेकर शाम तक जितने भी कार्य करते हैं, कुछ भी करते हैं, एवरीथिंग वी कैन ऑफर इट टू कृष्णा. सो वी कैन डू दैट एज अ सर्विस इन on lotus feet of Krishna. So that is dovetailing our daily activities.
And also in proper guidance that we have, if we are not able to figure it out on our own, then we have to take guidance of our seniors, of guidance of Srila Prabhupada books, and we have to read Prabhupada books daily, and we have to consult our senior, those who are senior devotees, and so that we can understand how we can cultivate this in our life, and how we can being in the same position, because it would be impractical for us to change our positions, but how we can dovetail our activities in Krishna consciousness. So that is the guidance that we'll have to take from our seniors.
गृहस्थ आश्रम में रह के भी अपनी एक्टिविटीज को कृष्णा की सेवा में लगा सकते हैं.
So now we move ahead. देखिए जो नेक्स्ट है वो भी बहुत इंटरेस्टेड है. He knows that his material condition, यहाँ से पढ़ रहे हैं, he knows that his material condition of life is under the supreme control of the Lord. जो हमने भी पीछे पढ़ा, that the person he should think that we don't have to if we think that we are the controller, then it is a wrong notion, a wrong conception. So और जो the person who is in knowledge, ये एक और लक्षण है उनका कि he knows that he is under the supreme control of the Lord. And देखिए आगे क्या important Prabhupada is writing that consequently he is not disturbed by all kinds of material reactions, which he considers to be the mercy of the Lord. So we can see it like this angle also, because if anything happens like to us, or either good or bad, so the devotees who are in true knowledge, or those who are mentioned, what they think is that whatever they are suffering or whatever they are getting, it is because of the mercy of the Lord.
And it is because of my benefit only, that Krishna, if I am facing something, if I am facing some disturbance, he knows that this is the plan of Krishna, so he goes with the plan of Krishna.
Because what they are trying to see is they're trying to see Krishna in everything, like whatever activities it is happening, could be good, could be bad. So वो यही देख रहे हैं that oh, इसमें what are Krishna's plan for me to get some learning out of it, कि इसमें क्या learning है मेरे लिए, and what does Krishna wants me to teach. And so this is also one of the signs of those who are in Krishna consciousness, or those who are in knowledge of the absolute truth. It is one and the same thing. Last we read. according to Srimad Bhagavatam, one who knows the absolute truth in three different features, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called Tattvavit. For he knows also his factual position in relationship with the Supreme. So it is a factual position. So who is a Tattvavit? That for he knows also his factual position in relationship with the Supreme, which is um, uh, that I am the part and parcel, and
कि
I
हम
am I am the servant of Krishna. Like, Jivere
Krishna,
Sarup hoye Nitya Krishna Das.
कि Krishna is Anshi and we are Ansh of Krishna, and our responsibility is to serve Krishna, to serve the lotus feet of Krishna. तो जो भी ये तीन फीचर के अकॉर्डिंग एब्सोल्यूट ट्रुथ को जानता है with his three features. So Brahman feature is the first, and then Paramatma realization, and after that highest one is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Bhagwan realization.
So how we move ahead? 3.29. प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढा सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तन् अकृष्ण विदो मंदान् कृष्ण विन न विचालयेत्.
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached, but the wise do not unsettle them. Although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge.
और अब देखिए, अब जो ये है वर्स एंड इन द परपर्ट, सो अब इसमें क्या है, इसमें वो सारी विपरीत हैं उन चीजों के जो द पर्सन हु इज बिविल्डर्ड इन बाय द मोड्स ऑफ मटेरियल नेचर वो कैसे कार्य करता है, और उसके बाद एंड हाउ दे बोथ आर आल्सो इंटरैक्टिंग. तो अभी हम इसको पढ़ेंगे.
Person who are unknowledgeable falsely identify with gross material consciousness and are full of material designations.
So the first thing Prabhupada is writing, that falsely identify with gross material consciousness and are full of material designations. So Prabhupada used to term it like skin disease, or the designations that whatever that we are carrying. Ki, I'm Indian, I'm American, or I'm Hindu, or I'm Christian. So all these are material designations, because factually everybody is a spirit soul, and is a part and parcel of Krishna, and whatever designations that we are carrying are temporary and are material, and because it is material, it is temporary. So but the true designation, but any of the designation that we have is that Jivera Swarupa Nitya Krishna Das, that we are eternally the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only designation that we can ever have.
This body is a gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness is called mand, or a lazy person without understanding of spirit soul. Ignorant men think of the body as the self. They accept bodily connections with others as kinsmanship. The land in which the body is obtained is their object of worship, and they consider the formalities of religious rituals to be ends in themselves.
देखिए, what is Prabhupada writing is that they think that to whichever land they're born is worshipable, and so that is also like what we talk of as any ism, nationalism, Indianism, Americanism, could be any ism. So whatever ism is there, so that is also false material designations that we are carrying with ourselves.
So Prabhupada in इसके लिए एक term use करते हैं मंद सुमंद मत्यो. So the person in Kali Yuga are mand and lazy persons without any understanding of spirit soul.
Right. And they think that themselves and whatever the connections that they are having because of this body as to be themselves only, that aham mameti, that ki this is also mine, and because I am related to this body, and whatever relationship that I have, either be it my family or be it my nation, or be it also because I'm born in this nation, so everybody in this nation is like in a collective brotherhood. So that is also aham mameti, that expanding myself or expanding my bodily conception. But that is not the right notion or the true notion of what we are supposed to think or supposed to understand.
जैसे कि हमेशा ऐसे सोचना कि ये भी मेरा है, और दिस इज माय हाउस, और दीज आर माय फैमिली मेंबर्स, या फिर आई एम द सुप्रीम कंट्रोलर, और आई एम द डूअर, which we read in the next in the last श्लोक also, कि जो ये सोचते हैं कि इस कार्य को करने वाला मैं हूँ, तो they are these kind of person. So
and they consider the formalities of religious rituals to be the end in themselves. उनको लगता है कि whatever they are doing, all the rituals that they are performing, so that is what is prescribed for them, and इसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं है. And social work, nationalism, and altruism are some of the activities for such materially designated persons. So lots of characteristics coming our way. So under the spell of such designations, they are always busy in the material field. For them, spiritual realization is a myth, and so they are not interested. So generally they won't be interested, because they are so engrossed in this in their activities, and they are so attached, because they don't think uske bahar wo nahi sochte.
And religious rituals तक वो maximum सोच पाते हैं, उसके बाद they don't have any ability even to think beyond that. So that ends according to them after religious rituals, it ends. तो वो ये करते हैं कि हम सबका भला, वो यहाँ तक पहुंच पाते हैं कि हम सोशल वर्क करना इज गुड, या फिर हम सबका भला करेंगे, या फिर अच्छे कर्म करेंगे, तो वो यहाँ तक सोच पाते हैं. बट उसके आगे अगर उन्हें वो भगवान के बारे में, या फिर दे डोंट रियलाइज कि उसके ऊपर भी देयर इज सम हायर अथॉरिटी और हायर एनर्जी व्हिच इज कंट्रोलिंग एवरीवन.
So उसके बाद देखिए, so this is very interesting which now comes. So those who are in spiritual life, however, should not try to agitate such materially engrossed persons. So एक तो ये हुआ, and better to prosecute one's own spiritual activities silently. Such bewildered persons may be engaged in such primary moral principles of life as non-violence and similar material benevolent work. So what is Prabhupada is saying, that they are not to be agitated, because they will not listen, or because they won't be interested in Krishna consciousness. So better to prosecute one spiritual activity silently. But we have a twist in our story, which is the last part, and which is also like the gem. So now listen. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. So now the climax part comes. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. So see, this is what Prabhupada is giving in the end. This is what the conclusion part is. This is what the important part is that see what devotees are doing. The ऊपर जो activities थी, that were for those that are characteristics of those who are engrossed in material attachments, and they're not interested. But what the devotees are trying to do is that they are like, they are more kind than the Lord himself. This is what Prabhupada is writing. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord, because they know that Krishna is father to everybody, and he loves everybody equally. and Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, and he is waiting for us eternally to turn our sides back. And there is no big pleasure for the devotees is than to bring the other son of Krishna back to him. And so consequently what they do is that they take all kinds of risks, and even to the point of approaching these kind of ignorant men and to try to engage them in the act of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. And that is why and and this being the mercy, and how is that possible? By the mercy of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he introduced this Sankirtan movement where everybody is allowed to come freely, and the devotees are also trying to preach to everybody, and they are giving it to everybody because it is the instruction of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that कि जिसको भी आप मिलें और जिसको भी आप मिलें आप उसको कृष्णा का उपदेश दें, talk to them about Krishna. And he also predicted that कि इस दुनिया में सब हर एक गांव में कि उनका प्रचार होगा, and there will be Hari Naam which will be sung, and there will be kirtans all over the world. And we can see it now practically that this is now being happening, actually taking place. And we all can contribute it together by coming together in this Sankirtan movement, and taking part. And it is so easy for us to take part in it by simply chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And simply to repeat whatever we have listened or whatever we have read it to others. And simply by we do this, then and Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that जो मेरे बारे में दूसरों को बताता है वो मेरे को सबसे ज्यादा प्रिय है. So
जैसे कि आप अभी देखते भी होंगे कि all over the world devotees are trying their best to preach to everyone. So अगर किसी को एक जेम मिल जाता है, जैसे अगर जेम मिल जाता है तो अगर कोई खजाना मिल गया है तो सबसे पहले अपने प्रिय सबको बांटेंगे, है ना. सो ऐसे ही अगर डिवोटी को मर्सी मिलती है चैतन्य महाप्रभु की, एंड डिवोटी गेट टू नो अबाउट कृष्णा, सो उनका मैक्सिमम ट्राई होता है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों के पास वो पहुंचे. उसके लिए उन्हें कई बार बहुत कुछ सुनना भी पड़ता है. अगर आपने कभी देखा होगा कि बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पे अगर जाते हैं या फिर कहीं भी, इवन फॉर कलेक्टिंग डोनेशंस आल्सो, इफ डिवोटीज गो, देन आल्सो बहुत टाइम ऐसा होता है कि बहुत जगह सुनना भी पड़ता है. बट डिवोटी what devotee just think I am doing this for the pleasure of Krishna. There is nothing personal in that. I am not doing for any sense gratification, or I am not doing for any fame or any name. I am just doing that for the pleasure of Krishna. So devotees इसलिए वो सब कुछ tolerate कर जाते हैं. In fact they tolerate everything, but they want to spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to everyone.
And the best example of anybody that we can take, those who took the risk and those who approached these ignorant men is all but Srila Prabhupada. That he took the biggest risk of all the times, and he at such an old age, it's at the age of 70, he traveled to the United States of America, and to do what? To simply preach this to simply preach this Krishna consciousness all over the world. And so he took that risk, and and we can see that that is what he is also mentioning here. That but the devotees, what they do is that they take the risk and they eventually approach even this ignorant men also, and they try to bring them into this Krishna consciousness by engaging these, by giving them chances to do any kind of activity that they can do in the service of the Lord. And be it could be anything, could be any seva, could also be could be monetary donations, or could it be anything. But if we do that, so that will go into like a permanent account for us, and
So
it will
जैसे कि
stay there forever.
तो जैसे कि अगर टेम्पल बन रहा है तो टेम्पल की कंस्ट्रक्शन में कर सकते हैं डोनेशन, एंड इवन if we are making prasadam, we can offer it to Krishna at our place, so that is also the devotional service.
So this was what these what this Krishna is trying to say in these shlokas, that how those who are knowledgeable and those who are not, how they are acting, and how the knowledgeable deals with those who are not in, those who are engrossed in sense gratification. So with here we end our session for today. And अगर आपके कोई प्रश्न हैं, या if you have any comments, so you can now do. And if you have any questions, you are most welcome to ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have one question regarding verse 28.
Yes, ma'am.
One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth means he is the person who is above the modes of nature,
Yes, you
or
can say.
he is in the mode of goodness.
No, Mataji. One who is in knowledge of absolute truth means that he knows that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and who knows his position, and who knows the position of Krishna, and who's trying to act in that way.
So he is above the modes of nature.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji.
So, do we have more questions? Okay. So, no more questions. So we end the session here.
Thank you so much for joining today's session.
Namo
Namo
Vishnu Padaya, Krishna
Prishthaya
Prishthaya
Bhutale,
Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine, Vancha Kulpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha, Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
So now we meet for Bhagavad Gita on Monday. And tomorrow we have our special session by His Grace Ronnie Prabhu on Guru Ashtakam. So please do join us tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Correct. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Very
Krishna,
nice.
thank you.
Very nice session.
Thank you.
All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji, for the wonderful session.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Mataji.
you.
Hare
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.